And Chargers kick off week 15 tonight. A win vital for Las Vegas, which has dropped 3 of 4, is 9th in the AFC, a game out of the final wild card spot. With all their issues, the Raiders' playoff run will be short if they even get in, believes ESPN's Marcus Spears.
They still can be devastating offensively, but even on that side of the ball, it seems they've taken a few steps back. Really concerned about this team, but defensively, if you are giving up as many points as they are, even if you make the playoffs, you're going to be exiting after the first week.
College basketball, Florida's postponed its next 3 games because of what the school says was the emotional impact of star forward Keontae Johnson collapsing on the court last Saturday. Johnson continues to show signs of progress as he undergoes further tests and evaluation. Oregon agreed on a new 6-year, $27 million contract with football coach Mario Cristobal.
We're back on Friday, and I'm giving the Raiders one more damn chance before I jump off the Raiders bandwagon. It's go time for the Silver and Black. We'll react to Thursday Night Football at 6 Eastern on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
The Brain. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Mike Detillier, 1 hour from right now. We'll head to Oxford in hour 3. Check in with our buddy Neil McCready from Rebel Grove. Preview the Rebs. Darin Tietgen, who2start.com later this hour for our Fantasy Blitz. We'll look forward to that. So when we left you yesterday, LSU had basically done its heavy lifting for the early signing period. We had not yet, however, heard from Ed Orgeron, which did happen yesterday evening on his coach's show. And there were a couple of interesting tidbits from Orgeron. So a quick recap of our thoughts on the day yesterday. You know my feeling on signing day? All you can do is make your pitch. Make your pitch, work really hard, and sign 25 really good ones. Most of the feedback I got from LSU fans was, man, it sucks we lost those 2 kids to Alabama. I get it. You'd much rather they go to USC so you never have to see them again. They're in your division, so now you have to play against them. But you can only sign 25. You can't sign all of them, so sign 25 really good ones. And when you look specifically at like JoJo Earl, for example, the wide receiver out of Texas or the athlete out of Texas, well, you lose out on him, which is disappointing, but you get Malik Neighbors. And Malik Neighbors is a Louisiana kid from the Lafayette area who's a top 10 player in the state. You were just so loaded at receiver in this class, you didn't have a spot. Well, you do now. Get a really good player. Losing Keanu Coate, listen, I can tell you the staff loved him. I mean, and you're going to hear Ed Orgeron talk about the job Christian Lockyer did with Mason Smith, but beyond Mason, I mean, look, the staff loved Keanu Coate, really athletic edge rusher, and you hate to see him go to Alabama. But there's some pretty big fish in the pond still there for LSU, and my goodness, they got a lot of good ones already signed. So signed 25 really good ones. LSU is at 19 signees, but apparently it might be more than that. Could play 11, please. Orgeron last night hinted that the 19 may not actually be the real number.
I have 5 scholarships left. We have a couple of guys that are silently committed that have taken up some spots. I can't talk about tonight. You're going to be excited about them. They're great players, but I'm not going to say anything until February, so I got a couple of spots left. I'll have to say one for a graduate transfer. We've got a target on a graduate transfer. He's an offensive lineman. I think we're going to get him. We got some of the top young offensive linemen in the country that are not committed. I think that we're going to sign them. So we're targeting for offensive linemen and maybe another cornerback and maybe a safety.
I think Ed Orgeron said offensive lineman 3 times in that cut. The big takeaway from the early signing period for LSU is, look, I mean, you're ranked 4th nationally third in the SEC, obviously with Bama, Georgia, Ohio State ahead of you. But the bottom line is you're in a great spot, and he said he's got 5 spots left. You had 19 signees, which means you have another signee on the board that they're holding until February. So, which, if that's what that prospect wants, okay, you sign your letter now. If you're ready to sign, be part of this class, great. So you have your spot. But if you want your moment, whenever that's going to come, okay, whatever the kid wants. So they're at 20. And I have a sneaking suspicion that the silent signee may be the replacement for Keanu Coate as a rusher. Just a guess because of look at what happened yesterday with JoJo Earl. JoJo Earl out the building, Malik Neighbors in. Look what happened last weekend. Nathaniel Wiggins. He flips from LSU to Clemson, and I'll be darned, they had Demarius McGee committed for 2 weeks. We just found out about it yesterday. So my guess is that's where it is. You're talking about an edge rusher somewhere out on the board that is going to be that one that's already signed that puts you at 20. And then Ed Orgeron said you got to go to work on offensive linemen, maybe another safety, see how all that plays, maybe another cornerback, see how all that plays out. But it's very clear now that the task is from now until February, go to work on the offensive line. See if you can snag Tristan Lee. See if you can get a grad transfer. Supplement that line now on the offensive side, and that's your charge. That is your task to finish this class. One of the things we obviously talked about yesterday, by the way, can you play too? This was Orgeron talking about a little further, elaborating more on the offensive line.
We have some guys in mind. We have some guys identified. We still have some great high school players out there that wanted to wait till February to sign, and we think we're number one on their list right now. So I've got 3 or 4 guys on the board. We have maybe 5 spots left. 3 or 4 guys on the board are offensive linemen. That's our priority.
So they know it. That's what they got to go do. Now go do it. What they did was fantastic work getting Mason Smith. Number 1 player in the state of Louisiana. Rivals number 1 player in the country. And the 247 composite, he is the number 2 defensive tackle in the country. This is the one you absolutely had to get. They did. Orgeron talking about Mason Smith.
Christian Lockature, our graduate assistant football coach, who I love, who wore number 18, was the major recruiter in this. He did a tremendous job. He talked to Mason Smith more than he talked to his girlfriend. I'm telling you that. He was on the phone with Mason Smith about 15 times a day, and so was Greg McMahon. He went down to Terrebonne High as many times as he can, created a great relationship with those guys. Great get for the Tigers.
So, tip of the cap to Lockature. I know it often goes understated because we think of the 10 full-time assistants because those are the ones that can go on the road and recruit. But remember, any staff member, when a prospect is on campus or can call, any staff member can call and text. So to that end, those guys like Lockature and Kelvin Shepard, guys that were former Tigers that are on staff that can work the phones, it's massive for those guys to have that relationship. And Lockature's been doing serious work, man. I'm proud of him, and he's done an awesome job in this recruiting cycle. The other big one that came through, a lot of these came through for LSU. You know, last week, Chris Hilton Sr., not really happy with what was going on. There were reports that he wasn't going to sign because of all of the investigation going on around LSU involving the USA Today reports about covering up sexual assault. Apparently, Ed Orgeron and his staff were able to get the Hiltons at a place where they were at peace with what's happening, and Chris Hilton signed yesterday as well. Here was Orgeron talking about that dynamic wide receiver.
Number 1 player in the country, 7'1" high jumper, right there from Zachary High School. I remember the day we offered him. I was watching the state championship game on my couch. He was a sophomore. They ran the tunnel screen. He beat West Monroe. I remember calling Coach Brew the next morning. I think he had just went to bed. He had a little fun that night, and me and him had a good talk about it. But I offered Chris that day. You know, Chris has some great parents. They love the LSU Tigers. He's going to be a great wide receiver.
Third best player in the state of Louisiana in the 247 composite, number 75 nationally, the 11th best receiver in the country in the 247 composite. 247 Sports ranks Hilton even higher. But and these are guys that are must-gets in your state. You got Sage Ryan. I mean, it was a great day for LSU to have the 19 public signees, the one that they're holding as well with 5 spots to go, focusing on the offensive line. You got some momentum. See if you can finish this season strong with a win on Saturday against Ole Miss. Get the 500, avoid the losing record, have a little more positive mo going into this offseason. And there's a lot to like about what happened yesterday for LSU. All right, it is after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, Drew Brees returning to practice for the New Orleans Saints. Might he actually be a go this weekend against Kansas City? We'll talk about that a little bit, and you better believe we'll delve into it with Mike Detillier in the next hour. Glad you're here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. You know, over the years that we've been able to talk about the Baton Rouge General, I've been able to share so many of the different services that they offer as they're expanding healthcare, like the Mako robot for knee replacement surgery, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, which is now reopened, the way that the Baton Rouge General has handled the response to COVID-19, reopening the emergency room at Mid-City, all of the express care locations that are doing a remarkable job getting people tested for COVID-19. It's all there for you at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Learn more, find locations, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org for emergency care, the Heart and Vascular Center. They deliver babies at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Maybe you just need to see a primary care physician if you don't have one or aren't happy with yours. The Baton Rouge General. Of course, cancer care as well. And they are exclusively partnered with the Mayo Clinic Care Network. brgeneral.org. Online, brgeneral.org.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of.
Here you go.
All right.
Top speed.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I'm glad you're with us here. Appreciate our friends over at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Remember, for every $100 gift card you buy all this month, they'll give you a $50 gift card free used on any products or services. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, or online, theantiagingclinics.com. Drew Brees has been designated to return from injured reserve. Yesterday, officially, was that designation. So that starts his 21-day window to practice. So anytime over the next 3 weeks, Brees will be back on the practice field. Sean Payton had a Zoom teleconference with the media today, and obviously was asked about Drew Brees and this designation with Brees being able to return. He was not, by the way, listed on the injury report yesterday. So what Payton talked about what they're looking for in Drew Brees this week.
Well, it's pretty simple. It's just functionality, strength, throwing, without soreness, without. I mean, there's a process, and last week with the trainers, he had one throwing day, and yesterday, the same way. So it's really asymptomatic, feeling good, strong, and like you function and be an asset and play well.
So basically, the end part of that, right? Can Drew Brees feel good enough to go play well and be an asset to the team? That's really what they're looking for. What about further medical clearance from doctors?
I think everyone's monitoring, pay attention to it all, and so there's no, we'll just see how this week goes.
Shout out, as always, to our friend Dr. Chip Banks and his Saints team doc from Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic over there at Brock. He's awesome. He's always the guy you see in the suit that runs out on the field whenever there's an injured player. He did my knee surgery last summer, 2 summers ago, whenever it was. He's awesome. So you know that he'll take all the necessary steps to make sure that Brees is healthy and good to go and able to go before they put him out there on the field. Of course, Bo Lowry, the trainer, who's been with Brees forever. They got a great medical team around him. I mean, it's just they're not going to run Drew out there and put him at risk. The flip side of it is he's got to be able to perform before you're going to run him out there. I don't think that this is any drastic type of a prediction or anything. My guess is Taysom Hill is going to start this week. I think they were hoping and targeting all along this week for Drew Brees' return. It's just not. It just feels unlikely that if you get into Wednesday and then Thursday and you're not going through a full padded practice, it's hard to imagine that you're going to be able to turn around after missing a month and just be ready to go on a day's notice. The ideal situation would be to have Drew Brees ready to roll when, obviously Tuesday's your mandated day off. When you start game prep on Wednesday, boom, he's there and he is leading the number one offense. That would be the ideal situation for whenever you want him to return. You got 3 games left after this week, as we all know. So, yeah. Is there a perfect launch point for Drew Brees? I don't know. When he was first injured, this was the obvious one to circle. Could he be back in a month and be back for the Chiefs? Now, after the Chiefs, you've only got 2 games remaining. You got Minnesota at home, and then you're at Carolina. Depending on the result of this game, it really determines what you're playing for, right? If you lose this game and Green Bay wins, well, now you're basically eliminated from the 1 seed. I guess mathematically, if you would win your next 2 and Green Bay would lose its next 2, you could overtake them again. It just feels super unlikely if that were to happen. But and especially considering what Green Bay has ahead. They play a shorthanded Carolina this weekend. They do have to play Tennessee, and then they finish at Chicago. It's the NFL, and anything can happen. It just feels mighty unlikely. So I guess for me, I look at it, and the Saints, I doubt, are looking at it in this manner, but I'm looking at it in terms of whenever you've already clinched a playoff spot. whenever Drew Brees returns, just make sure he's not going to risk further injury and a regression, which puts him on the shelf for the rest of the year. Because I think it's safe to say, and we would all agree, you're not winning a Super Bowl with Taysom Hill as your quarterback. So you need Drew Brees back for that playoff run. If you lose this week with Taysom Hill, it would stand to reason, man, give Brees another couple weeks off to where whenever you start the playoffs, he is really ready to roll. So we'll follow this. It seems unlikely that Brees is going to go this week. We'll ask Mike Detillier in 40 minutes from right now his feelings on it, but it's very likely it would seem as though the Saints are going to play Kansas City without Drew Brees, which means the onus is really going to be on the defense in this game. I look at the offense with Taysom Hill, and we've talked about it a good bit, but it feels very much like this is a game where if you're going to have a chance to win this game, it's going to have to look like the game that the Chargers played against the Chiefs early in the season in week 2, when the Chargers led that whole dang game, and Kansas City had a furious rally at the end to tie it at 20, and then won it in overtime 23-20. It would have to be one of those outside of your mind defensive performances for the Saints to keep them in this game, because this doesn't feel like a game where you can go toe-to-toe, score for score like you did a year ago with San Francisco in the Dome in that game where you came up short. I mean, with Taysom Hill as a quarterback, the Saints have scored 24-31 against Denver, who didn't have a quarterback in that game, and we know how that went. Saints just lined up and ran it 42 times, whatever it was. So 24-31, 21, and then 24. And look, the two games against Atlanta, 24 and 21 against that defense, one of the worst in the league. I mean, whenever you actually play like a legit defensive line like you did this last week in Philadelphia, or, Kansas City, who has, Chris Jones and Tyrann Mathieu and legit dudes on the defensive side of the ball, it's hard to imagine this Saints offense going off for 38, keeping pace with Kansas City. So can you slow them? That really is the challenge for this Saints defense, the good-on-good challenge of Saints defense, Chiefs offense. Who can win this one? Sean Payton was asked about Kansas City's offense and, what they do at 4, please, and what others have kind of tried to copy throughout this league.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, Nick. I think so. I think that, you're ahead or you're following, and certainly they're ahead. And they do some unique things. And look, it's one of the things that's very impressive about Patrick is their ability to, get in a lot of 5-man protection, move people. He'll understand who to mic, how to move the line in protection. He does a great job. He does a great job with his cadence. A quick shift for a receiver or tight end, get an indicator, go through the cadence, go back through it again, re-mic. That's not easy for a lot of young quarterbacks, and that's something that you see, and now certainly during COVID, you guys can hear if you go to the audio. It's really impressive.
And one more from Sean Payton. Two of the biggest weapons that the Saints are going to face, obviously, are Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. How do you limit those two guys? Sean Payton was asked.
Yeah, how do you simulate it? You try to as best you can to, understand the leverage. And we played some good tight ends to date, but certainly he's one of those rare guys. I think the one thing that's maybe understated or not appreciated with as much film as we watch, you see someone who is extremely intelligent as not only just a route runner, but setting up leverage, setting up even picks, blocks, and everything he does with each play. There rarely is something that you would say is the wrong. It's just he's got great football instincts, and he's one of the few players that you see that on film. And Tyreek is another one, and but he too has got those instincts where he'll travel across in motion, he'll get set, he'll come back on his own, he'll know where the landmark is. Very, very comfortable moving and understanding leverage, and I think that, along with an amazing skill set, that you end up with what you got, a great player.
A 1 minute and 10-second answer from Sean Payton. Chatty Sean Payton. That's the opposite of salty Sean Payton, who we heard from on Monday the day after the Saints' embarrassing loss at Philadelphia, where he was pointing at and calling out by name guys like Andres Pete, etc., we had chatty Sean Payton today. You can tell he is in the throes of game planning for the best offense in the NFL right now. And with tons of respect for what Kansas City does, they are the defending champs. Here's hoping the Saints can get out there, play a hell of a game on Sunday, maybe try to find a way to steal a win. And then we'll see about Drew Brees' status. When we have more there, we'll certainly let you know. It's After Further Review. Glad you're with us. Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen and southpointvw.com. Do that in a second. We also have some news I'll get to here about LSU basketball and also the LSU search committee for a new president. And this does pertain to the USA Today report. I'll get to that in a second. Let me remind you, though, South Point Volkswagen, on the lot, online, southpointvw.com. Awesome time to go by. You know that. Look, we're into December 17th now, and you probably know the best time to buy a vehicle is at the end of the month. The best time to buy a vehicle is at the end of the year because quotas have to be met, and you got to move inventory, and this is the time if you want to make a deal. At South Point Volkswagen, Sign Then Drive is on. New, certified, pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, southpointvw.com. Sign Then Drive. 0 down, 0 to its signing, no first month's payment, no security deposit. You basically sign your name and you're driving away in a brand new vehicle. Awesome time right now with the holidays here and Christmas 8 days away. South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. What's your direction? So the LSU basketball team has postponed its game Saturday. So we know that they were scheduled to play last night against UNO. That game was postponed due to COVID concerns. And then LSU also announced today that they have postponed their game this Saturday, scheduled for this Saturday against North Texas. It was going to be a very busy day on Saturday out at the LSU campus. 11 a.m. tip-off against North Texas, then a 2:30 kickoff against Ole Miss. But because of COVID concerns, contact tracing, etc., the game last night and the game on Saturday, both now postponed. So the next time LSU is scheduled to be on the floor will be Tuesday against VCU, which would be their last non-conference game before they tip off the regular season the Tuesday after Christmas. So it's, I think, really important, for very obvious reasons, to get that game against VCU in, so that way they will have played before conference play begins, and so that Sam Houston State game wasn't their last outing before conference play begins. So a lot of teams and programs in the country are obviously juggling schedule postponements and realignments, and I'm sensitive to that because everybody is. But for LSU and this team with so many new players, it would be really nice to get out on the floor at least once more before they start conference play the Tuesday after Christmas. So maybe they can add another game like they were able to do in short order with Sam Houston State. And then the other bit of news is that LSU presently is searching for a new president. Of course, Tom Galligan is the interim president out at LSU, the systems president, and they're searching for a new president. Verge Osbury is on that committee. Today, Verge resigned from that committee, not from his job, but from that committee. The committee chairman, Verge Osbury wrote to the committee chairman, Chairman Williams, I'd like to tender my official withdrawal from the LSU President's Selection Committee, effective immediately. I appreciate having had the opportunity to participate and obviously remain completely supportive of your most vital efforts and will provide any outside assistance you might find appropriate. Sincerely, Verge Osbury. And I am told that this was not a forced resignation, that Verge voluntarily stepped down after the meeting. So, of course, Verge's name has been one that's been oft mentioned with the USA Today reports because of apparent text messages he had with Drake Davis, where Drake Davis acknowledged striking his girlfriend, and Verge apparently did not report that in a timely manner. So very much in the middle of this. And candidly, I like Verge a lot. I think the world of him. As an administrator, as a man, as a person, I've always gotten along well with him. So I just, in the name of full disclosure, I just don't know what's going to happen with all this. As we've said many times as this has come up, because of the severity and the gravity, the nature of what we're discussing, which actually has a legal component to it, I will be willing to wait and see what the committee, that independent search firm, finds and what the final findings are and results are of that investigation before we draw any sweeping conclusions. But I've also said, in addition to that, if what is being alleged is in fact true, then there is going to be and needs to be major accountability at every level of the university, from the president's office through the Title IX office and compliance and LSU athletics administration, the football program. Nobody is exempt if what's being alleged is true. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. We'll go around the SEC. Speaking of which, legislation. There's another Congress NIL, name, image, and likeness bill that was proposed today. If this goes into law, college sports as we know it is over. I'm not saying college sports is over. College sports as we know it are over if this goes into law. We'll talk about it next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Brain, did you get your tree? Please tell me you got your tree.
Of course I got my tree.
Oh, finally. 8 days till Christmas. Brain finally got his kids a tree. Did you get it at Clegg's?
Clegg's was closed.
Oh, no, Brain. You should have gone earlier. Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siga near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. If you're a Johnny-come-lately, you can go all Clark Griswold on it and chop one down in your front yard, or you can go to Clegg's Nursery. Pretty picked over, but they have some trees remaining if you're still looking for a Christmas tree. But really what we need to focus on is poinsettias and other Christmas decor. If you want to decorate for that Christmas party at your house or your office, they got poinsettias. They've got indoor-outdoor decor and gift items, y'all. Wind chimes, bird feeders, hummingbird feeders, gift cards for the gardener or the do-it-yourselfer, because Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store. Buy local, shop local. Clegg's Nursery.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Toyotathon is happening right now at Corral Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The winner is the dog with antioxidant vitamin C.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Apparently, Alvin Kamara is meeting with the media as we speak. Our buddy Luke Johnson, NOLA.com, just tweeted, Alvin Kamara on Tyrann Mathieu. Quote, if I'm being honest and unfiltered, Tyrann, he don't give a F. Apparently, neither does Alvin. That's going to be a lot of fun on Sunday to watch with Tyrann Mathieu coming back to New Orleans, back in the Dome, and hopefully 100% Alvin Kamara trying to get that offense rolling this weekend against a pretty good Kansas City Chiefs defense. The defense has been good in spots this year, so gigantic challenge for the Saints, but it's the one that all of the NFL is going to be watching. We'll be locked into it as well. A fantasy blitz in 24 minutes. So before you set your fantasy football roster, get your fantasy football questions in. And we'll certainly preview the game with Mike Detillier coming up fantasy blitz in 10 minutes. Mike Detillier in 24 minutes. Meantime, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Florida Gators.
Number 7, Florida Gators preparing for the SEC championship game. A few injuries that Dan Mullen is following, including Kyle Pitts, safety Sean Davis, and linebacker Jeremiah Moon. News on Pitts looks pretty good. Shocker. Mullen said Pitts has had a great week of practice, and they hope he's able to play. Still questionable, though, on both Moon and Davis, who have both been out for multiple weeks.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Mark Stoops has announced the hiring of South Carolina's Eric Walford as his new offensive line coach. I'm sure you remember former Kentucky offensive line coach John Schlarman died on November the 12th after a 2-year battle with cancer. So Walford joins Kentucky after being with South Carolina since 2017. Also coached offensive line at both Houston and Arizona.
The Auburn Tigers.
And one of the top-ranked players from Auburn's 2019 recruiting class has entered the NCAA's transfer portal. Redshirt freshman running back Mark Anthony Richards. He's leaving the Plains. After missing last season due to injury, Richards finished the regular season this year with just 20 carries. He was the 90th best overall prospect in the 2019 recruiting class. So a top 100 player from 2019 at Auburn. Gone. And there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, North Shore, the official office equipment provider of the New Orleans Saints and the LSU Tigers. That is Gulf Coast Office Products. You can trust Trey Beal. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. Your business needs to run more efficiently and you need office equipment, Gulf Coast Office Products. We're going to get to the Fantasy Blitz in the next segment. So if you got fantasy football questions before you set your roster, check with our guys at whotostart.com. You can tweet me at Matt Moscona, email matt at 1045espn.com, or jump at the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Lots of ways to get involved. The College Athlete Bill of Rights was proposed in Congress on Thursday by Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey and Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut. If this goes into law, college sports as we know it do not exist. I'm not saying college sports won't exist. College sports as we know it will no longer exist. There's about a half a dozen proposals out there with respect to name, image, and likeness and how to manage college athletics, etc. But this is the most drastic of all. On top of name, image, and likeness opportunities, lifetime scholarships would be guaranteed to athletes, meaning you leave school, you want to come back in 15 years, they still got to pay your scholarship. They would establish health and safety rules enforced with hefty fines for violators. Be fining college athletic departments if they violated health and safety rules. Set up a fund to cover out-of-pocket medical expenses for current and former athletes. Athletes would be allowed to transfer schools without facing penalty, which I'm okay with. Basically, there's no more sit out a year, get blocked there, need a transfer waiver. Just go. You want to go, go. But the one that is the most significant, that would fundamentally end the structure of college sports as we know it today, is revenue sharing. What this bill is proposing is that athletes in sports that generate more revenue than the total amount of money spent on scholarships in that sport would share 50% of the money left after the scholarships are paid. So effectively think of it this way. Look at LSU. LSU got 85 scholarship players. Let's say an annual LSU scholarship grant and aid, what is that? $20,000, $30,000? Do you know, Brain? What's in it? Look it up for me. Would you please? Let me just hypothetically say it's $20,000. So if you're looking at $20,000 for 85 scholarship players, you're talking $2.4 million. Is my math right on that? 85 players times 20K? 1.7 million, if my math is right. The calculator's math is right. Okay. So LSU athletics generates $85 million in revenue. Effectively, what they're saying is you pay $1.7 million in scholarships, that $85 million in revenue, less 1.7. So roughly $83 million, half goes to the players. And there's some of y'all going, that's how it should be. Hold on. That's for all 130 Division I football programs. And it's not on a school-by-school basis. Basically, LSU would have to take that, what did I say, 40,000 or 40 million, and throw it in the pot with the other 129 football programs who would take their revenue, half of their revenue, but before expenses, not net, gross, half of your revenue after you pay scholarships, half of your revenue goes into the pot and they divide it evenly among every player in the FBS. So basically, LSU athletics and Ohio State football and Miami football and Notre Dame football and USC football would be paying out of pocket the punter at Miami of Ohio and the long snapper at Vanderbilt, who would get the same amount as Trevor Lawrence. The second string safety at Coastal Carolina would get the same as Justin Fields, and it would be funded by and large by the revenue coming in to the major athletic departments. Y'all, I'm telling you this much, man. If this, I don't know how this passes. This could never work, because fundamentally what would happen is college football would break apart. You could not have a structure with the FBS that had 130 programs. And if you're LSU and you're saying basically 40 some odd $1 million of revenue that you generate out the door, well, guess what? You're not building facilities. You're not hiring support staff. You're not flying first class or private. You're not staying in 5-star hotels. Like, the whole game changes. You think I'm exaggerating? Do the math. Take $40 million annually away from LSU athletics. See how it looks. You got two options. Generate revenue, which if you generate more revenue, they're going to keep taking half of it. Or you cut expenses. That's how you make your balance sheet work. Try any business. Try to cut half of your expenses. Whatever you do, whatever business you're in, just start thinking about what would it be if you had to cut half of your expenses. What happens is you're not going to generate as much revenue as you once did. Stunning. If this happens, we'll follow it. It is monumental if it does. If. All right, Fantasy Blitz next.
AFR.
Honest to goodness, true story. Sitting at lunch today with a buddy, and the topic of insurance comes up. This is what happens when you get old and boring. He's been with State Farm for 25 years, for as long as he can remember. Everything is with State Farm. His home, his vehicles, 2 teenagers now driving their vehicles also on that policy, a boat, an RV, Hunter's got a 4-wheel, like all of it. One policy, 25 years. I said, brother, I'm about to make your day. I went back and checked recently, had an AFR listener whose 2 sons had just, 2 teenage drivers just joined their policy. On their auto alone, they saved $6,800 annually. And this guy, my buddy, has home, auto, boat, all of it, y'all. Insurance Network of Louisiana, 293-0450. Stop overpaying to be underinsured. 293-0450.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. After further review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.com.
Who the hell are you?
Whotostart.com. The Fantasy Football Blitz. This is the Fantasy Football Blitz, powered by whotostart.com on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 104.5ESPN.com.
All right, let's do it. Fantasy Blitz. Darin Tietgen, whotostart.com, the numeral 2. Get yourself personalized fantasy football advice before you set your roster. Darin, thanks as always for the time, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
Let's talk about tonight, man. The Thursday night football game. Pretty, I don't know, man, intriguing for some reasons. Chargers, Raiders, if you're a fantasy football player, lover, you got to be interested. So what are we looking at tonight?
Yeah, this is a must-win for the Raiders, so I'm expecting, Derek Carr to have a good game, Darren Waller to have a good game, Josh Jacobs to have a good game. Not so much on the other side for the Chargers. Looks like Austin Eckler's hurt. Looks like Keenan Allen is hurt. So tread carefully with those guys.
Let's dive right into questions because we got a bunch. By the way, we are into playoffs, right? I mean, this is where people are making their money.
That is correct.
All right. Lance Traylor needs help. He says he's got a PPR league. He's got Brandon Ayuk, Deontay Johnson, or Cooper Kupp. Who to start?
Cooper Kupp is probably going to get a lot of targets if Robert Woods is out, but still not sure on Woods. I think Ayuk is actually the play. He's going to be getting all the targets there for the Niners, who are probably playing from behind and could probably get you some garbage time points. I think Ayuk is actually the best play there.
Okay. Jump over to Facebook where we got a bunch of questions there. Alex Day says who to start. He's got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DJ Moore, or Brandon Cooks at flex. Who to start?
Yeah, I think I'm liking Cooks there. Deshaun Watson's just flinging the ball all over the place. Like that matchup. It is a tougher matchup for the offense as a whole. But I think with Deshaun Watson at the helm, I think Cooks gets a lot of targets this week coming back from injury. I think he's your play.
Jeremy Brinkmeyer, which defense? You want Buffalo or Tennessee if Stafford doesn't play?
Yeah, if Stafford doesn't play, I think Tennessee jumps up the rankings a little bit. But right now, I think Buffalo's probably your play. So, check how Stafford's doing. If he's still questionable come, tomorrow afternoon, maybe plug Tennessee in. But for right now, I think Buffalo is the better play.
Randall Alfrecht says, who to start, Taysom Hill or Jared Goff?
Oh, boy. I thought you were going to ask me about Taysom Hill coming right out of it. So,
well, I was going to, and I was like, let's just get to people's questions. I think by now we all know.
Yeah. We're getting a ton of Taysom Hill questions.
Did we lose Darin? Brain. I think we lost Darin. Help me out here. All right, we'll see if we get Darin back. We got a couple more minutes, so. Okay. All right, Darin, sorry, I thought you were saying we're getting Taysom Hill questions.
Yeah, I have Taysom Hill myself. It's quite the conundrum this week, just because of the defense he's playing. The Chiefs are going to throw the kitchen sink at him. There's tape on Taysom Hill now. But, there's just too much upside there, too much potential to run the ball in for touchdowns. So I think you got to roll the dice with Taysom.
Justin Hosky, who to start, Swift or Fournette?
I think you're going Swift there. He's still sharing carries, but this matchup, he's going to get the ball quite a bit if Stafford's out. So I think Swift is probably your better play there.
Jump back over to Facebook. Choose two standard leagues at Corey Davis, Brandon Ayuk, Gallman Jr., and Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, we talked about Ayuk before. I think he's a good play. And I think McLaurin is probably the safest bet out of the other players. So Ayuk and McLaurin are your two.
Matthew Chauvin, who to start, non-PPR flex, Jeff Wilson or Kiki Kuti?
I like Wilson. It looks like he's going to be the primary ball carrier for the Niners, and they're going to feed him the ball. So, plug Wilson in.
Couple more here. Daniel Cass says, Darin, who to start at flex for a PPR league? He's got Claypool, Thielen, or Beasley.
Man, Beasley's just been awesome lately, especially in the PPR. Like the matchup. Diggs is going to get the most of the looks there, but there's enough to go around, especially with that matchup this week. So I think Beasley's the play in PPR.
Short on time, last one. Shane Michaels says, who to start, standard league, Cam Akers or Kenyon Drake?
think you go in acres there, they're going to feed that youngster the ball.
He is Darin Tietgen. He is very pithy and punctual. We appreciate that. Who2start.com. Who2start.com. Use the numeral 2. Darin, good luck this weekend, man. Appreciate the time as always.
Thank you very much.
Be well. Have a very Merry Christmas. Of course, next Thursday is Christmas Eve, so we won't be here Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or New Year's Eve or New Year's Day as well. So good luck to all you fantasy football players out there. Let's talk real football now. Full hour football talk with Mike Detillier is staring us straight in the face. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Literally, while I'm sitting here, I got a text from Doug Bickley over at GMFS. Earlier today, I got a call from someone on the Bickley team clarifying an issue. I told you I'm going through the refinance. The thing that I've been telling you about for months and months and months and months, the numbers finally worked for me as well. Even though we bought our home in 2016, just 4 years ago, at a 3.85. Our rate was a 3.85 4 years ago. I'm now getting a 2.65 rate. I'm going to be able to skip 2 mortgage payments. I'm going to lower my monthly mortgage payment, lower the life of the mortgage. It's incredible how people are changing their lives. More than 600 Louisiana residents closed loans this past month with GMFS Mortgage. That's more than 600 donations made to Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center in the borrower's name. More than $4 billion in loans closed this year with GMFS, and you could be next. GMFSmortgage.com. Change your life today. GMFSmortgage.com.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs. Who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays? You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This is what you need to know. The Saints' decision on quarterback Drew Brees' status for Sunday against the Chiefs will come down to how he feels during practice this week, according to Coach Sean Payton. Brees out the last 4 games with 11 broken ribs and a punctured lung. Shouldn't play this week, and New Orleans should start Jameis Winston instead of Taysom Hill, believes ESPN's Damian Woody.
You got to score via the passing game. And there's no way you can game manage your way into beating the Kansas City Chiefs. I know he gives you, potential to throw pick sixes and all those type of things, but he's a much more accomplished passer than the other guy.
Damian Woody on the Max Kellerman Show. Saints currently the 2nd seed in the NFC. They still have a chance at that 1 seed. Florida's postponed its next 3 basketball games because of what the school called the emotional impact of star forward Keontae Johnson collapsing on the floor during a game last Saturday. Johnson does continue to show signs of progress as he undergoes further testing and evaluation. Oregon agreed to a new 6-year, $27 million contract with football coach Mario Cristobal, puts him among the top 25 nationally in coaching salary.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
After further review, our weekly talk with Mike Detillier is brought to you by the one and only New Orleans original, Cesarac Rye Whiskey.
They won't admit it, but gambling and fantasy football, get their cookies off.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
The Brain.
Hey, the brain got a poop.
And we're joined by the one and only, the incomparable Mike Detillier. SaintsReport.com, MikeDetillier.com, the M&D Draft Report, and, of course, the Saints News Network over at SI.com. Mike D., how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Matt.
Mike, you buying it? Brees this week? What do you think?
Well, I think we're on the way to recovery, and that's the good news. That I think sometime very soon that Drew will be out on the field. Now, the one thing I can't answer, and no one else can, neither can Drew, is you practiced a little bit yesterday, you practiced today. How well you feel Friday and Saturday? Because you are a 41-year-old cat, and you got 11 broken ribs, and you did have the punctured lung. Of how you feel after a couple of these, and also I think when most players have that type of injury, you want to sort of simulate a tackle or two, and how he reacts to it, because you want to see how well he responds once he gets hit. And not just during the game, but even before, of how well his body responds. So the good news is that, back-to-back practices now, and that he's moving around, and he's feeling less discomfort than we knew about a week ago. It is really good news for the Saints. They're not going anywhere without Drew.
Amen.
Bottom line, come January, you're not going anywhere without Drew Brees in the lineup. So now you fight it a little bit. And I had a long conversation with Randy Mueller, the former Saints GM, also was GM in Miami with Nick Saban and out with the Chargers. And he was like, man, that's such a difficult decision because, you want him healthy for January. You'd like to get him a warm-up game or two. Do you play him here against Kansas City? And in a short week, you got to play him again against Minnesota on Christmas Day. Now, you do have a long wrap-up to finish it, but he's, as a management guy, I would think seriously about not doing it this weekend. But again, his body's going to tell him if he can play or not. If it'd be up to Drew, he'd play. I think he'd have played last week if it had been up to him. But you can't let it up to the player. You got to see how his body responds, and I think the relationship between him and Sean is good enough that if there is some discomfort there, that Drew would tell him, hey, Coach, I still do have a little discomfort. And so, but the good news is he's back on track, so to speak, to be back in the lineup very soon. If it's this week against the Chiefs or if it's Friday against the Minnesota Vikings, we'll see. But, man, that's really good news for a football team. In this time of year, man, you start to count the injuries. Michael Thomas now, back-to-back days without practicing. But, a guy like Mike, he don't really need to practice. Are you good for Sunday? Get in there. The concern for me more is Nick Easton. And this is why, Matt. He's had now back-to-back concussions in 1 year. And that's concerning. That is concerning to me, that you've had those concussions now back-to-back. So we'll see what happens with Nick because listen, he has been one of the most underrated football players on this team for what he's been able to do. And we're seeing Cesar Ruiz really struggle at the guard position, really struggle there at times. And, man, the Eagles, they had some big plays up against Teron Armstead, but they had plays up against Ruiz too. So, man, that is a concern for me as you reach toward the end of the year. That last year, if you remember when they played the Vikings sort of schemed to attack the Saints guards. They went after a heavy Larry Wolford. They went after the Saints guards and man, they got a lot of pressure. They moved their ends inside where they were up against the guards, if you remember right in that football game. So they felt that was the weak spot. And so Nick Easton's health is a concern for mine, especially when you get concussions pretty quickly. And this is twice now in one season that, normally you don't return back pretty quickly from that.
No. He's on Twitter at Mike Detillier. Mike, we are going to preview fully Saints Chiefs, but it is worth mentioning what happened in Philly this past weekend. It was just, it's massive. A chance to clinch the division, maintain the 1 seed, and you lost to a 3-8-1 football team starting a rookie quarterback in his first career start. Mike, what were your big takeaways from what transpired Sunday?
Overconfidence. Okay, and you got people. They should never be down or overconfident. They just work 16 Sundays out the year. Let me count you 16 days at work and see how much you give 16 times in a row. Come on, don't look in the mirror. But it's quick to point that out. Wasn't Florida overconfident against LSU? Man, we got this. We watched the film. We got this. Come on, we got this. We don't need to take these guys seriously. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, you're in a dogfight. And by the time the Saints figured it out, in the third quarter, hey, this is a lot tougher than I thought. You were getting beat. And you got beat up front in the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line. The shocking part for me was I did 6 shows in Philly last week. Every one of them said the Saints will win by 10 points or more. Philly can't run the ball. Their offensive line is horrific. They can't protect the quarterback. They can't run block. They got age issues. They got injury issues. Some of the guys are just sort of going through the motions. They got nothing on the edges to get in the pitch and catch part of the game. Their secondary is horrible. Then they lose 2 starters during the game in the secondary. And the Saints still lost to a team that's really not very good. Mm. And you practice against a quarterback similar in with Jalen Hurts when you go up against Taysom. You couldn't protect the edges. That was an attitude game for me, attitude-focus game, that you weren't really quite ready to play. Man, we got this. Philly? And sometimes the film kind of gets you a little bit overconfident too. Now, as usual, they always got a certain portion of, who I blame on this? I blame the media. Y'all made them overconfident. My thing is, I ain't put on no helmet and shoulder pads in quite some time. It's the dude that look in that mirror, right? Okay? And Sean keeps saying about this, hey, don't eat the cheese. Be careful about these type of games that has caught us in the past. And I say this every year. There's one game that's an El Stinko one every year. You saw it. That was the El Stinko game. You played a bad football team with a rookie quarterback, with offensive line issues that had not committed to running the football, and their secondary, they were rolling out guys that were second and third string up against the Saints, and they still couldn't win. Still, the Saints couldn't figure out a way to win. They had a shot at it, which is unbelievable. Had they recovered the onside kick, that you could have actually put that game into overtime. I mean, the Eagles were the better team that Sunday. You play them 10 more times, the Saints win. But again, it goes to show you that adage of any given Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, these guys getting paid too. You know, they got a little bit of pride in them, and they see this, man, we not playing well, and we got to show some pride. And I give Jalen Hurts a lot of credit. He didn't do anything that I hadn't seen him do at Alabama and Oklahoma. How poised was that young man? You know, hey, you know, he hadn't played in a big, you know, in a game as a professional like this, but man, okay, yeah, I played in some pretty big games in college that meant something. You know, he was poised as could be. Okay, you run that way, I'll take off this way. And he put on a show. He was very impressive to me. Now, again, can you sustain that? I don't think he's good enough as a pocket passer to sustain it. And after you get a couple weeks of film like they have with Taysom Hill, now they figured out to take things away from you. And Taysom wasn't Taysom in that game. It, almost like he just hung around in the pocket, held on to the football too long. Come on, you can't be Drew Brees. You got to be Taysom Hill.
Amen. Mike Detillier is with us. Mike, let me knock out a quick break. Obviously, the impact of that game is going to be felt now and for the remainder of this regular season, possibly into the postseason, as Saints no longer control their destiny. They need some help. Can they get it? We'll talk about that with Mike. When we come back, preview LSU Ole Miss, get a thought on the shoe throwing game, and what happened on National Signing Day yesterday with LSU. Tons to do with Mike D. Glad you're with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Ichiban Essen near Perkins, the best sushi in the Best of 225 awards. Find your favorite specialty roll tonight. It's Thursday. You got Thursday night football. You could dine in or carry out. Why not carry out over at Ichiban tonight? Man, get home, watch some Thursday night football, turn on the tube, get your favorite specialty rolls to go. They have contactless curbside delivery. Place your order, pull up, call them. They'll bring it out to you at Ichiban Essen near Perkins. And from our friends at Ichiban, their newest concept is Bo-Ru Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. This is authentic Japanese ramen. Every single noodle is handmade in-house on Government Street. The broth is a 30-hour preparation period. They have a full-service bar, an amazing an authentic Japanese dining experience from our friends at Ichiban. It's Bo-Ru Ramen on Government Street.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyotathon is happening right now at Corral Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Highlander for $4,600 off MSRP. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hello?
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I build a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org.
Failure happens to us all.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Our weekly talk with Mike Detillier is brought to you by the one and only New Orleans original, Sazerac Rye Whiskey.
All right, continuing with Mike Detillier. Chats with Mike brought to you by Sazerac Rye, the one and only New Orleans original. Pick it up wherever you buy your spirits. Mike, let's talk. There's so much ground we have to cover with LSU. The improbability of the Florida win. The most you've ever seen with an LSU team? I mean, the only thing that seems to rival would be the 93 Alabama game.
Yeah, and I'm glad the point spread was 24. But I didn't need it. But I was glad. It enticed me to put down a nickel or two.
I never do, Mike. Not on LSU. I can't do it. Can't do it.
As I told you last week, I knew Florida would look ahead. Come on, it's human nature. Okay, you've seen this film on LSU's defense, and you going up again with Kyle Trask, those receivers. Now you didn't know about Pitts until late, but I get why they pulled him. To be honest with you, if he's not 100%, and you were thinking, man, we play in the SEC championship game, and he's talented. Man, goodness, I told this to Charlie in the pregame that as far as the receiver's concerned, just as a pass catcher, he's the best pass-catching tight end I've seen since Tony Gonzalez. Now, that's some years in between Tony and him.
You're talking about Tony at Cal or Tony in the NFL?
I'm talking about Tony at Cal.
Got it.
And so there's a few years between that. Ditka always had told me that on draft day. No, we can't pick Gonzalez. He's nothing more than a receiver. Yeah, a Hall of Fame one. Oh, Mike, he was a talent evaluator, brother. But whatever. You think back, it's a human nature thing. And again, I go back to it's an attitude game, and LSU got nothing to lose. And I give the kids a lot of credit that, that part about, change is happening. And I think you saw a little bit of the freshmen and sophomores grow up. I'm tired of getting my butts kicked. I'm really tired of it. And they played hard, and they did give up some big plays and stuff. And the offense at least ran the football, which I think protected Max. You saw what the big advantage with Max is that he's got some movement skills and he can get around in the pocket pretty well and run. It wasn't perfect, but it was a W. I've never seen a game decided by a shoe. Never in my lifetime. Now, my thing about it is you should have pulled off the other one. At least you got a pair. At least you got a set. One of them don't do you no good. And then the kicking game came through for you.
Yep.
The kid came in there, 57 yards. I really didn't. You know how I noticed the reaction? If you look good, you can actually see Gordy Rush's reaction.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see the ball, I saw Gordy's reaction more than anything. But I never saw it, when it cleared, and I didn't see the miss either until you started to see everybody in the stand sort of lean. Now, when they start that lean a little bit, something's wrong. So, listen, that was a big win for the guys. Now let's see how well they handle it. How well they handle a little bit of, good things happen to you. Can they piece it together against an Ole Miss football team which is explosive offensively? Now, they're not real good on the defensive side of the ball. They give up a lot of yardage and give up touchdowns. That's the area where Lane, in talking to him this offseason, he was like, I asked him about rebuilding, and he had his glasses on. He just pulled them down and looked at me and said, rebuild? I was like, yeah. No, he knew he could score points. Mm-hmm. And Matt Corral's a gunslinger. Man, that ball comes out sort of funky, a little bit like Patrick Mahomes a little bit. It comes out a lot of different ways. But boy, he can get it there. They have an explosive receiver in Elijah. And that tight end is a big target guy. They're going to got some seniors up front along the offensive line. So it's quite a challenge defensively for LSU because of what Ole Miss, and the two guys know one another. I mean, Lane knows Ed. Ed knows, Lane. And so that's certainly, if they were both playing for something, that'd be a huge story about the connection between the two of them. I remember it was a New Year's Eve. Ed was in Florida with both Kiffins, with both Lane and Monty. He was defensive line coach at the Saints at the time. And I had texted him, hey, what's happening? And he texted me back, headed to UT. So, he goes to UT. They spend 1 year there, then they go to Southern Cal, and then the events with Lane getting fired and Ed taking over. And so, man, there's a lot of connections. And he would have been the offensive coordinator here year one with Ed had he not gotten a head coaching job. So I want to see the attitude and how they handle a little bit of success now, because I think that is part of maturing as a young team. How well you handle that success. I didn't think they handled the success very well in the offseason across the board. How well you handle it now, you get a big win on the road, and now you're playing, a team that you can put some points up against. Can you stop them? Because Lane is going to pull out every trick in the book, partner. I'm just telling you. He sees all this miscommunication stuff and crossing patterns and sort of semi-picks and everything else. He's going to do the exact same thing. And so I don't want to tell you to gamble, but the over is a nice play.
Oh, Mike. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the line. I mean, LSU opened a small favorite. It's Ole Miss is almost a 3-point favorite now. It's shifted completely.
Yeah, and that did not surprise. I thought they had the wrong favorite from the start. I thought Ole Miss would have been a favorite. They've been a more consistent team than LSU all season long. But again, man, for odds makers, how difficult is this today? Okay,
oh, yeah.
Because your job is to make money for the casino. It's not to make money for guys like me and you and anybody else who maybe got a nickel or a dime on a game. No, their job is to make sure the casino comes out ahead. When they put LSU as a favorite, that surprised me, and I knew there would be heavy money on Ole Miss. And in fact, I actually said Monday, I thought Ole Miss should have been a 3.5-point favorite. What is it today?
2.5. I mean, Mike D, a 4-point swing. That just don't happen much, man.
Well, that happens because of money, and not guys that put down $50 and $100. I'm talking about major money swings that point spread, and it's difficult to move a game a point. You're talking about 4 points. So I just think here that people in the know feel as though Lane's team has been more consistent, that they're a little bit more mature team, and they feel as though Lane, knowing that defense, will have some success up against it. And can you argue that at this point? You can't. And so it's an interesting football game. It opened up LSU favorite. I was surprised. Now it swung back. That didn't surprise me either. And I've always felt this type game ends up you winning it or losing it on special teams. Some big play on special teams, if it's a run back, if it's a block kick, if it's a field goal, that's going to be the deciding point here, where I think both defenses are going to give up big plays. Let's see how well Max handles game 2 now, and in his consistency as a quarterback and his ability to put pressure on a defense that you can't stack the line, because if you make the right blocks and he's got an opening, Max can scoot, man. Max got some running skills. He ain't like his pop on that part. He can run. And so that opens up a lot of different things. And I'm also interested in the attitude because, okay, you notice the final game of the year, how motivated are each of the two teams at this point?
Yeah.
How nobody can guess that of how you in that locker room and, okay, you've just won a huge game on the road and how well you handle that success as a young football team. And for Ole Miss, it's how well Lane can handle some of the distractions that has happened in that time off. Because that's not easy, too, man. It's challenging. That's why I'll say this again. Greatest head coaching job I've ever seen, and that's Nick Saban and what he's been able to do. Focus-wise, get his team ready each and every week. Yeah, somebody might get 7 points on them quick, and then they hit you with that tsunami, dude, and you like a boxer. You cannot get your hands up fast enough for the next punch, and he just keep punching and wailing away at you. And I think Florida's in a lot of trouble. I think because, man, I want to see their attitude when they play Alabama. You just got beat up against LSU. Now you got to play a team that they can hit you with 28 points in the first quarter. That's how good they are. How they react to that. And I think one thing LSU did was expose something we've talked about, and I talked about it in the pregame with Charlie too, is that with Kyle Trask, you can see he's built to play quarterback. He's a big, tall kid, strong arm. Man, in that little square area, boy, he can set up and he can wing it downfield. He's accurate with the short throws. He can throw the deep ball. One thing he can't get away from, pressure.
That's true.
You saw he was cornered. Once LSU got a little pressure and he had to move, man, just think, that's a college team. Wait till you get to the pros. They're coming at you a lot quicker than that. That would be something I'd have to think long about picking him, knowing he doesn't have great mobility skills. He's a box quarterback. Yeah, he plays in a pro-style system. But if you can't move in the NFL, you're in trouble, big trouble. So I think LSU exposed that a little bit more than I think maybe anybody thought they would. And you don't think Nick and Golding and all are going to take full advantage of that?
Oh, I do.
I do too.
Mike D's with us. Sit tight, Mike. We'll knock out a break. Come back. I do want some thoughts on National Signing Day, which we'll get to toward the end. A lot of questions about Mason Smith. Mike obviously knows a lot about that young man. So when we come back, though, full preview Saints-Chiefs. It's a massive one for New Orleans. I mean, there's no other way to say it. You lose this game, you can pretty much kiss any chance at the number one seed goodbye. Saints-Chiefs previews coming up next with Mike D.
AFR.
You need a place to watch Thursday night football. Pluckers, always a great option. Essen near Perkins. I'll remind you the Bluebonnet location remains closed. They had some contact tracing. They're making sure they get everybody tested. They want to follow all the protocols before they reopen. Pluckers is doing it the right way to make sure that you, their guests, are safe and are comfortable when they reopen and return. So Bluebonnet location is closed today, but the Nicholson location remains open. That's just south of campus. So if you're downtown, if you're in Old South Baton Rouge, if you're in parts around LSU's campus, it's so easy to get to that Nicholson location just a mile south of Tiger Stadium, right there on Nicholson, the original Pluckers location. Dine in or carry out. Of course, 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Big one tonight with the Raiders and the Chargers, or maybe it's college basketball action that you're into. If you're starting to play on your Saturday around the LSU game, make sure Pluckers is part of your game day plan. 2 locations. Remember, Pluckers, you don't like our wings. Give me the bird.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
In and eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Choose your fighter. Dax, 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 Dax. With antioxidant vitamin C.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Our weekly talk with Mike Detillier is brought to you by the one and only New Orleans original, Cesarac Rye Whiskey.
Hey, remember, for every $100 you spend all this month, $100 gift card, it will give you a free $50 gift card at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. No limit all this month. Buy a $100 gift card, they'll give you a $50 gift card absolutely free. All right, we continue with Mike Detillier, SaintsReport.com, MikeDetillier.com. If you're not following him on Twitter, why not? He's on Twitter at Mike Detillier. Okay, Mike, Saints-Chiefs on Sunday. Mike, I really think that the Saints, especially if Drew isn't going to play, it's just going to be a struggle offensively. So the question is going to be, can the Saints defense find a way to slow the Kansas City offense? So let's start there. How, Mike? How do the Saints try to slow this defense or this offense?
I think the key player here is Travis Kelce. He's a nightmare mismatch. You cannot put a safety and a linebacker one-on-one on with him. He's going to beat that. Now, people say, oh, well, do what the Patriots did. They put Stephon Gilmore, okay? I'm going to put Lattimore on Kelce, and then what's going to happen with Tyreek? Now, Patrick Robinson was healthy. That's a different situation. I got a guy that can maybe match up with Kelce. So you're going to have to either double-team him or bracket him. because he's really a big receiver playing tight end. He's a good getting away type blocker, and he does kind of tuck off the edge a little bit on the running plays, but athletically, there aren't a lot of tight ends like him that I've seen in a long time. His ability to stretch the field, make a catch, and then take off with it afterwards. He scares me. He keeps me up more than anything. I understand what Tyreek Hill brings to the table, and that he can blow the top off coverage. The one thing he does very well is he's a very aggressive guy going for the football. For a small receiver, he ain't a really big dude. And he goes up and he will fight you for the football in a crowd. And then certainly the reverse plays and the jet sweeps and stuff like that. But Kelsey's the nightmare for me because you're going to have to kind of do things a little bit differently. He's not your regular tight end. And he's the guy that keeps me more uneasy at night than anybody else. Their running game has been okay. It's been good, really good at times, and at other times has been rather average. The thing with in watching them, and even people out in Kansas City will say it's disturbing, is how their defense sort of will fall asleep in the second half of games with a lead and give teams an opportunity to come back. We saw it a few weeks back against the Raiders that, man, Las Vegas makes that big run late, and Carr was really hot. And they get him in for a score. The only thing bad is they left too much tick, tick, tick on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And Mahomes comes back and beat them. Okay, they get a big, huge lead against the Dolphins, and, man, bang, bang. The Dolphins are right back in it. Man, you're putting your hand in the piranha water each week doing that. You're just playing. Eventually, you're going to get bit. Somebody's going to catch you doing that defensively. And I give Andy a lot of credit for what he's done this year. They did lose one game, but keeping his team focused after a Super Bowl win and keeping them revved up each week. It is difficult, man. That's hard because you've won the prize now. And their deal is just get us into the play. We get in the playoffs, we're going to beat everybody. But, you got to win games in the regular season to do that. How he's been able to do it and keep this team rolling. Mahomes is the best player in pro football. It's not even debatable. He's the best player in the game. The thing that makes him real strange to watch is the ball never comes out the same way twice. One time it's over the top, next time it's by the ear, the next time it's by the shoulder, next time it's sidearm, then one time you'll see him underhanded. I mean, he throws it all kind of different ways. So if you're a defensive player, you're like, oh, I got him covered. Oh, how did he get that ball there?
Mm-hmm.
He just finds a little avenue. And I think as the days get colder, and not that that'll make a difference this weekend, but I think as the days get colder, watch what Andy has done in Philly and also Kansas City. He's become more of a run-oriented coach. He wants to kind of pound you. And now he's got that twosome, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And now Le'Veon Bell is not the player he was in Pitt, but certainly, man, he's still a force. And he's really good coming out the backfield, just like Clyde is. So, and they've done it, but their defense, man, they've had some shaky moments. And the one thing with Sean, he knows Steve Spagnuolo very well, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs.
Sure.
He hired Steve in the year he was suspended, but he had known him for years. They know one another very well, the tendencies on what Spags is going to throw at him defensively. So it's an interesting matchup. And the one thing we have seen from the Saints under Payton, in a humiliating game, don't they bounce back the next week?
Yeah.
In games I think Sean was humiliated because he lost to Doug Peterson on the team. And him and Doug are partners. They play golf together and everything else. And he knew that the Eagles weren't a really good football team, okay? And you lost that game, and you just got beat. Bottom line, there's nothing you can do about it. You got to move on. You can't worry about what happened against the Eagles. You got to move on with it. But in games like this, that all the spotlight's on him and on that football team, and certainly there'll be a lot of talk of what happens with Drew Brees, the real matchup is Andy Reid versus Sean Payton. The chess match between those two head coaches who got great respect for one another, but Sean was humiliated last week up against his buddy Doug Peterson. And that set, normally the Saints play pretty well the next week.
Mike, by the way, you're right. Last year against the Falcons, when the Saints had that, as you would put it, El Stinko, they bounced back a week later and blew out Tampa 34-17. So they typically do respond well. How do the Saints score in this game, Mike?
Man, the one thing with the Chiefs, they've had difficulties getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, especially in the second half. They've done okay in the first half, but they've had difficulties. My thing is, you were beating up teams running the football. You got to go back to that. You got to go back to the power rushing attack. If Taysom's in the lineup, you got to do what Taysom does best. You can't try to force him to be Drew Brees. He is Taysom Hill. Okay, he ain't going to throw the football as good as. And don't give me this quarterback rating of so and so and so and so. All I know is the eyeball test tells me he had 4 or 5 really easy throws and he misfired. He hung on to the ball forever. Trying to get rid of it. And if I told you before the game, Matt, there's going to be one quarterback that takes 5 sacks and the other one takes 0, you'd have said, man, I think Hurts as the rookie is going to get the 5 sacks.
Yep.
You know, come on. You took 5 sacks as a quarterback with the athletic skills you got? That tells you 2 things. One, he was hanging in a pocket way too long. And secondly, your offensive line, they got the stew kicked out of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by Philly's front, which is really good. It's a better front than what the Chiefs got. That's all I know. Man, that unit, they bring it each and every game. Now, their secondary, the Chiefs got a better secondary than what the Eagles do, what I think 31 other teams probably do. But it's one of those type of games where, you know what, you got to hope for a turnover or 2. You got to win the special teams part of the game. I don't know what's happened with Will Lutz, if it's an injury or if he's in a little bit of a funk as a kicker, which we all see at times. You know, we got people, you got to get rid of him. Get rid of him. He's an 87% kicker. This team has had a revolving door of kickers until Will got here.
Yep.
So what's happened with him, you got to straighten out. And has the return game been the same since Deontay?
Nope.
It's not been the same. And even Marquez. I mean, Marquez
that's been a revolving door too, Mike. You're right, with Callaway. And
so you cannot lose the special teams part of the game against the Chiefs. So I think the power running game, play a little keep away, try to keep it low scoring, because if Drew's not in that game and you get into a game where they're scoring over 30 points, man, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're in trouble. And again, not knowing the full health of Michael Thomas, who's missed back-to-back practices. But again, we've seen that with other players. You know, Saturday, well, man, everything feels good today. I'm ready to go. So hopefully he can play. And I do think the tight ends have been a problem for the Chiefs to match up against. That's where Jared Cook and Adam Troutman got to come through big this week, because if you watch the Chiefs, Darren Waller, and again, they don't have nobody like that, but he was high school open. You know, he wasn't open. He was open like a high school player. There wasn't nobody within 5 or 6 yards of him. I could have made a couple of them throws, like Carr made to him. I mean, he is wide open. That there's no one contesting that. That tells me that's where you got to kind of hit on it, and you got to get Alvin Kamara and Murray much more involved in the offense. I just think that for whatever reason, that game plan of keeping him in the pocket was not good. That's just not what Taysom can do well. And so it is what it is. But you know one thing, if you score late to take the lead, you better hope them TikToks ain't too many.
Mike Detillier is with us. We're going to pick on Saints, Chiefs, and LSU Ole Miss. By the way, a significant player for the Rebels will not be on the field Saturday. That news just breaking. We'll get to that in a minute. Your questions for Mike D. Stay here as we wrap up with Mike D next on AFR. AFR brought to you by Darin James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place at agent225.com. You know where to find him, agent225.com. Remember, working with Darin James obligates you to nothing. If at any point you're not thrilled with the service that you're receiving, fire Darin and let you out of a contract free and clear. No questions asked. but you won't. There's a reason that Darin James is on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1,000 realtors in America. There's a reason. Because he gets results. Darin has perfected the systems and the processes to get your home sold faster for more money. If the New Year's resolution is going to be in a new home, get started today and call Darin James and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Commercial or residential, buying or selling. It's Darin James. And remember,
think real estate, think Darin James.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA-certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Do we see the confetti fall? Be ready for war. Tell them that's
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Our weekly talk with Mike Detillier is brought to you by the one and only New Orleans original, Sazerac Rye Whiskey.
All right, wrapping up our final segment with Mike Detillier, SaintsReport.com, MikeDetillier.com, Saints News Network over at SI.com. And, of course, we appreciate our friends at Sazerac Rye for sponsoring the segment every week. Mike D, before we get to questions and picks, Elijah Moore, the talented wide receiver from Ole Miss, has just released he's opted out. He's not going to play this weekend, and he's going to instead start preparing for the NFL draft. So, Mike, how significant for Ole Miss not to have this chess piece on the board?
No, he's the go-to guy. He's the guy Matt Corral trusts the most. And Matt admitted that. You know, my first look is toward him. That's a huge loss. It doesn't surprise me, in today's world.
Yeah.
Ole Miss isn't playing for anything. So, hey, I see where my draft stock is, and, people might like it, don't like it, whatever. It's a business decision. It's purely a business decision he made, and we've seen it here at LSU. And you see it all over the country. And Matt, it's not going to get any better.
Agreed.
You're going to see stuff like this is going to happen now until your last breath. I hate to put it that way, but it's true. The world sort of has changed, and I think players understanding that, I'm playing in a game, we're not going anywhere, I'm out. I'm going to make a business. I don't want to get hurt. The only way I can lose my draft stock is if I get hurt. Now, I think for the teams playing in the playoff situation, they're not going to lose those type players. But come on, for an Ole Miss, you understand why Elijah, took the tag out.
Mike, what do you think? Saturday, LSU, Ole Miss. How's it go?
Man, this is a tough pick, but I'm gonna go this way with it. I think LSU wins this 24-23.
Oh wow, lower scoring, man. What about Saints Chiefs?
Man, this is even tougher for me because I went back and forth with this. I'm going to go 27-24, Chiefs.
Okay.
But if Drew plays, then that might be a different story. But, I think the Saints keep it close. I think they keep it within range. And the Chiefs' defense is going to give up plays offensively to the Saints. You got to take advantage of it. I think both these games are going to be razor close.
Billy Mathern on Twitter asked Mike, with the potential of not having Brees and Winston on the roster next season, should Loomis and the Saints make a phone call to Andrew Luck just to see if there's interest?
No, Andrew's not coming back and play. Yeah, he's already made that known. I think that phone call has been made a few times by different teams, and you would have to give him up compensation. They still hold his rights, but Andrew's not coming back and play.
Matt Plavidalis has asked Mike, will Mason Smith play defensive tackle or defensive end at LSU?
No, he's going to play defensive tackle. He's always been an interior player. Now, he has lost a lot of weight because we were teasing one another because, man, during the summer, man, he was like early summer. He was like 327 pounds. And I'm saying, man, stand next to me when we take that picture because it makes me look skinny. Don't make me look taller, but it makes me look skinny.
Right.
And he's like, next time you see me, I'm going to have all that weight off. He lost over 40 pounds. And he was on the keto diet. Wow. And, man, he really worked on him. And, when you're young, man, that weight goes on and off pretty quick. And he's the part. But he's going to play interior defensive tackle. He's looking forward. He told me yesterday in the interview that really looking forward to playing next to Jaqueline Roy and Guillory and those guys, and he's going to try to help recruit a couple other guys to LSU.
So hopefully some big ones. Kevin Dunn says, ask Mike, Malik Neighbors' thoughts, the wide receiver that flipped.
When they offered him a month and a half ago, I was like, okay, what's going on here? So you must have got an inkling, somebody was maybe looking to break out of Dodge. Because it seemed strange. You had commitments already, and then it looked as though, okay, you're going after Neighbors too. So, the one thing I do give Ed, he's sort of got a good pulse on that kind of what's going on. But he's a guy that can run, and he physically needs to get stronger. He is going to need to improve as a route runner, but, man, he is really confident catching the ball with his hands out front. And he's got some giddy up after the step. So he's a really talented receiver. I think once he gets in the weight room and physically gets stronger, you're going to have yourself something here with Neighbors. He's really talented.
Donald Spears has asked Mike, do you think Derek Stingley plays this weekend? If so, how close to 100%?
I don't know about 100%, but he plays this weekend.
No. Let's see. Ask Mike, can Mason Smith talk to Tristan Lee to come to LSU?
Well, I know he's talking to him. He didn't already admitted it.
I know.
So, on that particular part. No, he laughed with me yesterday because he was like, a little over a month ago, I heard you say something about LSU's going to get a second running back. And he said, the guy told you, interesting. And, man, I get all kind of, silly stuff, they send me about, man, I've been looking at Rivals and 247. LSU just signing one running back. I don't know where you get your information from. And I told this story a couple of weeks back. that, where are you getting your information from? Hey, come on. We're not splitting the atom here. But when Goodwin signed yesterday, I was as happy. Now, I knew Mason was going to sign with LSU, but I was really happy that Goodwin signed because it got me off the hook with a guy that, again, man, I'm telling you, I don't know where you get your information from. Okay, well, good enough. Just like Matt, if I would collected as much money as people wanted to bet me that Mason Smith was going to Alabama, I would never have to do another show the rest of my life.
He is Mike Detillier, and we'll keep doing this one on Thursdays. SaintsReport.com, MikeDetillier.com, Saints News Network on Twitter at Mike Detillier. You're the best, Mike D. Thanks so much, man. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you, Matthew.
All right, Mike. That's Mike Detillier. This is After Further Review. Hour 3, staring us straight in the face. Neil McCready, RebelGrove.com. Set to join us in about 20 minutes. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
See 2020 beyond 2020. The Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. Dr. Blake Williamson, my goodness, awesome work. He's, I always like to say he's got like the vocal local, so the anesthetic. While you may not have anesthesia, his calming voice and tone and how he talks to you during surgery, it's amazing how it keeps you relaxed. He's such a pro. I got to experience it firsthand. Dr. Blake Williamson performed my LASIK more than 2 years ago. Ready to take your call. Go for that free consultation. If you're on the fence, if you've thought about it, wondered about it, could I be a candidate for LASIK? Should I do it? Yes, yes, yes. Think about how many people in your life you know that tell you, best money I ever spent. Should have done it years ago. It was true then, it's true now. Call the best. Call the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020. 924-2020. No matter your refractive issue, there is a solution at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or online, WilliamsonEye.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention him right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen.
One thing you can always count on this time of year is Happy Honda Days at Richards Honda. With year-end clearance prices on every vehicle in stock. Save thousands on some of the best, most awarded vehicles on the road. And shop the way you feel comfortable. At the dealership or online with home delivery. So everyone can take advantage of Happy Honda Days. No wonder people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
They are exactly the same.
They're identical. Actually, they're not. House 2 also has antioxidant vitamin C.
Antioxidant?
Then we'll take House 2.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyotathon is happening right now at Corral Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Raiders and Chargers kick off Week 15 tonight. A win is vital for Vegas, which has dropped 3 of 4, is ninth in the AFC, a game out of the final wild card spot. With all their issues, the Raiders' playoff run will be a short one if they even get in, believes ESPN's Marcus Spears.
They still can be devastating offensively, but even on that side of the ball, it seems they've taken a few steps back. Really concerned about this team, but defensively, if you are giving up as many points as they are, even if you make the playoffs, you're going to be exiting after the first week.
Functionality, strength, and throwing without soreness. That's what the Saints are looking for from quarterback Drew Brees in practice this week when it comes to determining whether he plays Sunday against the Chiefs. New Orleans still in the running for the top seed in the NFC. Florida's postponed its next 3 basketball games because of what the school called the emotional impact of star forward Keontae Johnson collapsing on the court last Saturday. Johnson continues to show signs of progress as he undergoes further tests and evaluation. Oregon agrees on a new 6-year deal with football coach Mario Cristobal.
We're back on Friday, and I'm giving the Raiders one more damn chance before I jump off the Raiders bandwagon. It's go time for the Silver and Black. We'll react to Thursday Night Football at 6 Eastern on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Keeping our eye on the Saints injury report. Again, Drew Brees not listed on the injury report, but 2 days back at practice for Drew Brees. The full injury report as follows for New Orleans. Again, Thursday before the Saints-Chiefs, Sunday afternoon in the Dome. Tomorrow is really the one that's critical. Oftentimes you see guys limited or not participating, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday is the day where really you got to be on the field Friday in order to get going for a game on Sunday. Let's see. Players that did not practice Wednesday and again were out today. Malcolm Brown with that shoulder and calf designation. Nick Easton, as we heard Mike Detillier allude to, Nick Easton out with the concussion. Just really a second one this year, and that's one that's really, really disappointing. I mean, obviously your concern is for Nick, but the interior offensive line play for the Saints is not – the guard play for the Saints has not been good. With Rhys and Andres Pete, Easton has kind of been the bright spot. And unfortunately now, concussion looks like he's very much questionable for the game on Sunday. Michael Thomas, again, did not participate, but we've seen that all throughout this year. They're basically giving him off Wednesday, Thursday, and then he's out there running around full on Friday, and then ready to go for Sunday. Malcolm Roach, the good news, after not practicing yesterday, was back. That was an illness designation. Deontay Harris was limited, so did not practice on Wednesday, limited today. Hopefully they can get him back. And then guys that were limited on Wednesday but are now full, Ryan Ramczyk, Marcus Davenport, and Andres Pete. So that's all good news there. The big ones that we'll watch, or the big one that we'll obviously watch, is Nick Easton, and then looks like Malcolm Brown may be on the shelf again. Offensively, or for the Kansas City Chiefs, Mike Remmers and Eric Fisher both have not practiced yet this week. And as good as that Chiefs offense has been, the Chiefs offensive line has not been good. They had an opt-out before the season started because of COVID concerns. They've had more injuries than certainly they anticipated. And now you look at Remmers and Fisher on the injury list today as not practicing 2 days in a row. And then Tyreek Hill was full participant. Guys that had been injured, has a designation, have all been good to go. So Remmers and Fisher, a couple of offensive tackles, and then linebacker Damian Wilson also did not practice. But other than that, full goes for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll keep an eye on that tomorrow as we inch closer to the game Sunday afternoon, the game that the entire NFL is going to be keeping an eye on. The Chiefs have they lost the one game to the Raiders, and they really were only challenged one other time this year, and that's whenever they played the Chargers in Week 2. Again, division games have been their bugaboo. It's hard to say a team's 12-1, they have a bugaboo, but if they do, that's it. And Week 2, that was a game where the Chargers really dominated and controlled that entire game, kept the Chiefs' offense off balance the entire day. And then Mahomes did late in the fourth quarter what Patrick Mahomes does, and he led a rally, and they tied the game late, and they went to overtime, and the Chiefs ended up winning it in OT 23-20. But if I'm looking at a blueprint to replicate success on Sunday for the Saints, it's what the Chargers did in Week 2. And by the way, if you remember, that game in Week 2, that was when Tyrod Taylor they punctured his lung with the needle. And so Justin Herbert was making his first start, found out right before the game he was making his first start. So you had a rookie quarterback making his first start on short notice against the Chiefs, and the Chargers dominated that game. And Chiefs ended up winning it in overtime 23-20, but I think that's the type of game New Orleans is going to have to play. You got to play a game in the 20s. I just don't trust this offense with Taysom Hill leading it to be able to score with Kansas City. I mean, that is unless Sean Payton's willing to go full on, Taysom time, letting him run the ball 15, 20 times on Sunday. I think that's what it would take to be able to go score for score with that team. So, keep an eye on the injury report to see who's going to be available as we inch closer to that on Sunday. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us. As always, brought to you by Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service, shawbillstire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Christmas is next week. If you're hitting the road for the Christmas holiday, make sure you have your vehicle checked before you do. Get those tires rotated. Get that oil changed. Get that car tuned up. If the brakes are squeaking, make sure you get the brakes checked out. Or if you need new tires, remember, nobody will sell you name brand tires at cheaper prices than Shawbill's. Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service, locations all over. I mean, I go to the Burbank location all the time, Burbank right near Bluebonnet, and the Zachary location is opening soon. Excited about that. ShawbillsTire.com, Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. The one more thing I want to get to here, and then in about 8 minutes, we'll talk to Neil McCready, rebelgrove.com, covers Ole Miss. We'll get a preview of the Rebs. If you missed the breaking news, Elijah Moore, the all-SEC wide receiver from Ole Miss, has opted out. He will not play. His Ole Miss career is done. He's ready to start preparation for the NFL. So a major hit to that Ole Miss offense for this game on Saturday. But earlier this week, the College Football Playoff Selection Committee released its latest rankings, and as we all saw, they have Cincinnati at 9. And it is really against my religion to sit here and talk about Cincinnati football or any other little child football that nobody who plays big boy football really cares about. And you can call me an elitist, and I'm okay with that because I am. I am a college football elitist. I don't care to watch little boy football, and I'm not interested in it. And I care even less about hearing people who play little boy football bitch and moan and whine about their lot in life. The problem is you have chosen this direction. More on that in a second. But Mike Oresco is the commissioner of the American Athletic Conference. And he went on the Paul Feinbaum show and complained about Cincinnati being dropped. Cincinnati has not played since November the 21st, and each of the last 2 weeks, the committee has dropped them a spot, and they're now sitting at 9. Without playing, they moved from 7 to 9. A 2-loss Iowa State, 2-loss Florida, 2-loss Georgia, all ahead of Cincinnati, as they well should be, because Cincinnati plays little boy football. So, enter Mike Oresco, who goes on the Paul Feinbaum show and says that the committee needs to do some soul-searching and that they're undermining its credibility with rankings that defy logic and common sense and fairness. Oresco went on to say, quote, "I never thought I'd say it, but if this continues, bring back the BCS and their computers because it would be a fairer system than what I'm seeing now." This is the 7th year of the CFP, and it does appear the deck is stacked against us and other group of 5 teams. Hey, Mike, it appears the deck is stacked against you and other group of 5 teams because the deck is stacked against you and other group of 5 teams, because this is a system created by the Power 5 for the Power 5, not for you. And it will never include you as long as it is a 4-team playoff, and it should never include you. Look, Cincinnati is a fine football team. Luke Fickell's done a really good job. I'm not denying that at all. The reality is there's dozens of teams that could be undefeated against Cincinnati's schedule. That's the reality. God help if LSU had been able to play Cincinnati's schedule this year. It'll look a lot better than the 4-5 where they're sitting right now, Mike. And here's the honest-to-goodness reality, Mike, which you don't want to acknowledge. It's that you want to have your cake and eat it too. You see, all the ones that play little boy football are in the FBS for financial reasons. Bowl attachments, payouts. That's why they've chosen to play up in the FBS, when in reality, where they should be is crowning their own group of 5 national championship and playing their own little boy football. There's a problem with that, however. There aren't a lot of people that care about those programs. They wouldn't generate the type of revenue that they do being in the FBS with the Power 5 attached. They are sucking off of the Power 5's teat. That's what's happening. So you have a choice. You either attach yourself to the Power 5 and play in the FBS and collect the financial benefits of that and never have an opportunity to win a championship, or you go play in your own sandbox. You create your own group of 5 playoff, which is what you should do. If you want to win a championship, go do that. But you want to play in the Power 5 so you can get these big money guarantee games and basically have the Power 5 fund your athletic departments. So choose. If you choose money, okay, but then don't bitch about the system not being fair. You're not playing the same level of football. That's the reality. Accept that reality. And by the way, Mike, going back to the BCS, that wouldn't help you either. No group of 5 team ever got in the BCS. All those Boise State teams, they never sniffed it. Mike? What you should be lobbying for is an expanded playoff. Mike? Quit bitching about the way it is now and make a solution of how it can be better. Mike? You're never getting in. The deck is stacked against you. We all know it is. It's obvious because nobody wants you in there. God bless. What if Florida, Georgia, Bama, LSU, Clemson, Notre Dame, Miami go through the top 10? Texas A&M, Iowa State, USC, Northwestern. What if they played your schedule? They'd all be undefeated because you play little boy football. Mike? You can go on Fine Bomb and complain, and we'll all talk about you. Mike? But it's not going to change anything. Mike? I'm a proud college football elitist. I don't care about your conference. Mike? Let your teams come, get their ass kicked, cash a check, and move on. But every December and late November, I don't want to hear nothing from you, bro. Pick. You want to play for a championship? Go play in your own sandbox. You want money? Suck on the Power 5 teat. That's what it is. Accept it or move on. Mike. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Carriages in Bocage. CarriagesBR.com. You still got time, y'all, all this week. Thank you so much to Dan Mullen and to Marco Wilson and all the amazing players over at Florida that gagged away a win by throwing a shoe. My goodness, 20% off all footwear all this week at Carriages in Bocage. You can get by today, 20% off all footwear. Get by tomorrow, 20% off all footwear. Saturday, we have precious few shopping days remaining. Even boots, 20% off all footwear all this week at Carriages in Bocage. just by mentioning the Dan Mullen discount at checkout. Gotta mention the Dan Mullen discount at Carriages in Bocage. Not just shoes, though, of course, quarter zips, button-ups, sweaters, so many great options, accessories like belts. Find it today. Suits, sport coats, jackets, the best men's clothier in the best of 225. Carriages in Bocage.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Saturday, LSU's season will come to an end. It's a longtime foe. The Ole Miss Rebels will be in Tiger Stadium for a 2:30 kickoff. Neil McCready, rebelgrove.com, longtime friend of the show, all-around good guy, bourbon aficionado as well. Good enough to join us to preview the game. Neil, how are you, man?
Matt, I'm good. It's always good to be with you. Hope you're well.
Doing really well, man. Thanks so much. Let's start with what is just really significant news that just dropped, that Ole Miss's two best pass catchers aren't going to play in the game. Among them is Elijah Moore. How big of a deal is this?
Well, let's put it this way. We put our picks out this morning. So I heard about this on Saturday. I asked people at Ole Miss, and, of course, they told me it wasn't true, which is, as you know, as a journalist, can be really frustrating.
Yeah.
It just pisses you off if you're just totally honest. I picked Ole Miss to win a really close game. I would change that pick based on Moore and Yavoah being out. I'd pick LSU by 14 plus.
Why?
They're the two best offensive pass weapons on that team. I don't know who in the world could possibly replace Elijah. My guess is there's nobody that could put up that anything resembling that level of production. Without them, they have to rely more on their running game, which guard to guard has not been very good lately. I think LSU is going to score because everybody scores against this team. Ole Miss plays the same game week after week after week. They score tons of points. They give up tons of points. They roll up tons of yards. They give up tons of yards. I don't know that you can do as much without Elijah Moore, without Kenny Yavoah in a short period of time. And I don't think there's any reason to think that Ole Miss's defense is going to suddenly rise up and hold a team to 20 points, for example. So I think it's a huge piece of, from a one game standpoint, it's a huge piece of news.
If you knew about it last week, then clearly Ole Miss had to have some inkling that this was likely. So I would assume that they have been preparing for this inevitability. Who are the names?
Yeah.
Who are the guys that step up in their stead?
Braylon Sanders has played well, especially late in the season. He's kind of had an injury-plagued couple of years. He's finally healthy. He's a deep threat, can really turn the burners on. Had a big game against South Carolina, a big game against Mississippi State. Jonathan Mingo is a receiver who's been inconsistent when he's been good. He's been very good. When he has disappeared, he has been invisible, and it's always kind of been one or the other. So they need him to have one of his big games, and he's capable. They've got some other receivers in that room that they're high on. Dennis Jackson hasn't produced the way that I think they thought that he might, so he'll certainly get some opportunities on Saturday. And then the one wild card would be if you told me that they flirted with Jerry and Ely at receiver some. He's played running back, but he's a phenomenal athlete. Could play a little bit of everything. Now, he's not going to run the precise routes and that kind of thing that Elijah does. But if you told me that they put him in the slot as a threat and used more of Henry Parrish, the freshman running back who's been playing more the last couple of games, I'd buy that a little bit too. And look, Matt Corral's been really good all year. So, he's still going to get his. I just don't know that they can be as explosive. And for this team, they have to put up a bunch of points to win games. They don't play traditional football games just yet. I mean, they had a really good recruiting day on the defensive end, but those guys aren't going to play Saturday.
Neil McCready's with us, rebelgrove.com, on Twitter at Neil McCready. Every LSU fan knows the name John Rhys Plumlee because last year he was a menace in the second half of that game in Oxford, yet he's vanished this year. Why?
Because Corral's better. Corral was better last year. Matt Corral's performance is the biggest indictment on Rich Rodriguez that anyone could make. Rich Rodriguez and Matt Luke were going to run Matt Corral off. Look at Matt Corral's numbers, Matt.
Yeah.
I mean, they were going to run him off in favor of a quarterback who, look, I know he lit up that LSU team in the second half last year. I get it. It was 38-7 or something like that.
LSU was ready to get on the bus, man.
LSU was 7 days removed from that emotional win in Tuscaloosa. They'd come to Ole Miss. They'd beaten the hell out of them for a half. They'd gone into the locker room. It was a cold night. LSU knew they were winning the game. Now, they're not robots. They're humans. And so they probably turned it off, right? And so, he did that. And he did that a lot last year. Like, he did that against Alabama late in a game. He did it against Auburn late in a game. I mean, I think Auburn and Ole Miss played last year. Not to get too far down memory lane here, but it's a media narrative that drives me nuts. So Auburn had a game at LSU the next week. And, I think Auburn looked at that game against LSU last year and thought, we might be the one team that have the defensive linemen that could give them enough fits to give us a chance, which turned out to be right. I mean, Auburn was probably the only team last year that really gave LSU anything resembling a scare. And so Auburn's up 31-0 or something. And, of course, they're like, let's get everybody off the field. There's no reason to get somebody hurt in this game. And so their backups come in, and they're just playing out the string, and Plumlee runs for 150 yards, and the media goes, ooh, look at this. Matt, he never did it. And I'm not picking on John Rhys, but he never did it when the game was on the line. Not once. And what he became this guy that could – they marketed him. He's a nice kid. He's a good-looking kid. He plays baseball. He can play the piano, and the media does all this stuff. And they became this cute little story, and he became the focal point of that whole Mississippi-made thing, and he was going to save their jobs. And then the whole thing in the Egg Bowl happened with Elijah Moore and all of that, and people realized this doesn't work, you know, and they were going to run off Matt Corral. He was going to go to Oregon. I mean, he was going to go to Oregon, and look at what he's done this year. And now you have NFL people who very quietly go, look, I need to see more. So let me make sure that this sentence comes out right, Matt, so I don't get accused of being something that I never want to be accused of. NFL people say, I need to see a whole lot more. But there are some things that he's done this year that remind me of Patrick Mahomes. Now, that's as far as that goes. Mm-hmm. He's got that kind of arm, and he can make different throws from different arm angles on the run, across his body. He's got a special arm. And I say that not to say he's the next Patrick Mahomes, because I would not do that to anyone. But I say that to say they were going to run him off for a quarterback who can't get on the field.
Well, it'll be Matt Corral on Saturday. Who he's throwing to will be interesting to see. You mentioned defensively, it's clearly been a struggle for Ole Miss this year, as has it been for LSU. Is there anything on that defense that has shown signs of improvement throughout the year?
They've tackled better in the open field a little bit lately. That was a big problem early. People would just throw a little pass and dudes would run 30 yards. They've kind of cut that out for the most part. Rhys, who's a transfer from Georgia, got cleared. He played against Mississippi State. He made a big difference. I think you'll see him on the field. He can do things. Sam Williams has kind of played his way into shape, has been a little bit more of a presence off the edge. They didn't have that the first half of the season. They're better than they were early, but let's not go too far. I mean, they've been awful defensively. They've really struggled. I think schematically they've gotten more sound. I think they're more their gap integrity is better. I think some of the fundamentals they're doing better, but they're small and they're a little slow, and they get beat a good bit. They're going to give up yards and points to everybody.
Neil, I mean, for perspective, LSU's defense has been awful, allowing 484 yards a game. Ole Miss has given up 528 a game. So these are two defenses that are you're right, they're going to give up yards and points, but we expect, and so do the odds makers, that this is going to be a close game, Neil. Like, let's assume it comes down to special teams, if the third phase comes into play, how is Ole Miss in the kicking game? Punting, place kicking, returning, all of it?
Matt Brown, the punter's had a really good year. He's had a really, really good year. He's probably increased his stock a little bit. He might even get a look. Their kicking games, it's inconsistent on a good day. I mean, let's put it this way. Luke Logan made a field goal against Mississippi State. I want to say it was 29 yards. It might have been 28. I don't know, something like that. Everybody was just super happy for the kid that he made it. I mean, there was no
I'm sorry to laugh.
No, and I don't mean that. I mean, he's a great kid. I mean, he's not a particularly talented leg. Now, they signed a kid out of Louisiana that they think is a stud as a kicker. This Costa kid from Mandeville. Mm-hmm. They love him. They think he's going to come in and be a impact leg. But they don't have a kicker like the kid LSU has, or the kid that Alabama has, or the kid that Florida has who missed that kick the other night. I mean, they don't have anything like that. There's no 49-yard field goal getting made at the end of the game to beat somebody. They'll have to. You see them go for it a lot. Look, they're inside LSU territory. If it's fourth down, don't be shocked if they go, because they've gone a lot this year.
It's a good tidbit. All right, before you go, this feels like the obligatory question in this 2020 season. What's the motivation of this team?
Oh, it's to get a winning season. I mean, look, if you had told Ole Miss before the year COVID, no COVID, anything else, that they could have a winning year and that they could beat Mississippi State and that they could beat LSU and go to probably a fairly favorable bowl game, even in this weird environment. I mean, that would have been considered a monumental success. Throw in a top 20 recruiting class, which they put together. I think people would have looked at it and said, wow. So that's the motivation. Look, a loss to LSU is not going to kill them by any stretch of the imagination. It's not going to slow anything down. A win's not necessarily going to speed anything up. But I think from a momentum standpoint, a win over LSU is big. And like Lane Kiffin told them the other day, years from now, when you're grown men and you're not playing football anymore, and you'll look back and to be able to say that you won a game at Tiger Stadium wearing an Ole Miss uniform. Look, Tiger Stadium still has a tremendous aura. LSU still has a tremendous aura. I mean, it's 1 year removed from being at the absolute top of the mountaintop, as you know. So Ole Miss is a lot further than 1 year away from anything resembling the top of a mountaintop. So it would still be a big win for them, and it would give them some good feels. But look, Lane Kiffin's had a successful first year. It's a success if he loses on Saturday. It's a success if he wins on Saturday. So much of what he has to get done is to continue to recruit at the level that he started to recruit, and then when the pandemic lifts, to take them up another step. Because to win in this league, you've got to recruit like Alabama recruits, like A&M recruits, like LSU recruits. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen, not consistently.
Neil McCready, rebelgrove.com. Follow him on Twitter at Neil McCready. Read all his stuff. The Oxford Exxon podcast as well is all there. You need your Ole Miss info. That's where you go to get it. Always appreciate the time, man. All the best to you and yours. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners and your family and everybody else. Thanks.
Thanks, man. We will. That's significant. How about that, Neil? The thing that knocked my socks off is Neil saying at the beginning he thought Ole Miss might have won a field goal game, but with Yeboah and Elijah Moore both opting out, that's their top two, Ole Miss's top two receivers. Yeboah is the tight end, but Moore is their top receiver. Them opting out, said he thinks LSU win by 14. That's stunning. We'll see. Completely different level of intrigue to this game now. Glad they announced before Neil came on, because that's the pregame interview for Saturday as well. So it really would have been completely irrelevant if they opted out after that interview. All right, it's after further review. We'll now got a quick break. Brain still has Tigers and the Pros to come. Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. For every $100 gift card you buy, they'll give you a $50 gift card free all this month. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you haven't done it yet, call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001. I give you this number every day. 752-0001. Punch it in your phone. 752-0001. Do it right now. 752-0001. 752-0001. Man, I hear Moscona talk about the heater tune-up thing all the time. Is it really legitimate? Yes. Yo, I do this at my home every year. It's the seasonal maintenance. I was sitting at lunch last week with Matt and Paul over at River City's 1 Hour Air. They went for a heater safety check at someone's home, and the bottom part of the furnace was starting to get black from where it was being charred. Like it was a legitimate fire threat. Like, don't let this happen at your house. Don't assume it's okay. It's $97. They'll come out, they'll check your furnace to make sure it's okay, your home central heater. They'll also make it run more efficiently. It'll last longer. It'll save you money. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001. Where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Hello?
What's up, B? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg. Roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! beautiful roof every single time.
True.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Well, I think I got to lay the points with Alabama now. The one thing that you can't do to Alabama is just give them any motivation. You just can't. I mean, if they don't need it, but they'll fabricate it. And in the same way Michael Jordan did in The Last Dance. Took everything as an affront when everyone knows you're the greatest and no one's really trying to offend you. But the media is helping Alabama with this. Dan Mullen was meeting with the media today, and they were asking him about playoff chances. And he said, we'll think about that on Saturday night after we win. And this is being interpreted as Dan Mullen predicting a win, when in actuality the context of what he is saying is, we'll think about that. You know, when we win, we could think about that. But it wasn't so much of a bold prediction poking the bear, but that's the way one line is being written and portrayed. And Alabama is going to kick the crap out of Florida now because of that. They're going. Mark my words. They're going to Saturday night after that game. All over Twitter, you're going to see Alabama Twitter and Alabama players referencing that over and over and over and over again. Not that they need it, but that's what they're going to do because it's just what they do. I don't like them. Any of them. I want to give a shout out to Laura. She's just Laura on Twitter. It's Laura, and then what I presume is maybe a phone number. She tweeted a picture of the Moscona roll over at Ichiban. Said Gregory and I enjoying a Moscona roll. She said, love a shout out. He loves the show. Well, Gregory, whose name I don't know, last name I don't know, and Laura, whose last name I don't know. Shout out to both of you. Thanks for getting by Ichiban and ordering a Moscona roll. She mentioned, though, that the sriracha is what made it. I try to tell you all that. The sriracha is the spice, the yuzu honey is the sweet, the toasted coconut flakes on top is the perfect textural finish. People go, I don't like coconut. It's not coconut. You're not eating an Almond Joy. It's just the toasted coconut flakes, which give it some texture. Just trust me. Moscona roll. Amazing. Ichiban. Okay, Brain... Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Going to have up to 4 former Tigers on the field tonight for Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
For Los Angeles, you got Trey Turner and Braden Fajoko. Then on Las Vegas' side, you've got Foster Moreau and Arden Key. Morrow's got 5 catches on the season for 111 yards and 2 scores. Key has 10 tackles on the year, 2 for a loss and 2 pass deflections as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, plenty of Tiger action on Thursday Night Football. Hey, rewinding the clock to Monday Night Football into the first quarter between the Browns and Ravens. Apparently, Ravens cornerback Marcus Peters spat at Jarvis Landry as Jarvis was walking away from him.
Not apparently. They got it on film.
Yeah.
He spat at him.
Landry did not know what happened at the time.
He spit at his back.
Yeah. Didn't know what happened at the time, but after seeing the tape, Landry said today he thinks Peters is a coward.
Yeah.
When asked if he thought the spitting violated the league's COVID protocol, Landry said if there's a protocol for being a man, that's not it. I like it. He went next level. Forget COVID. You're not a man.
Any COVID violations there?
Yes. There absolutely is a COVID violation there.
Well, I mean, are you guessing?
People are suing people for, like, assault for spitting at them now. You cough in someone's general direction, and you get in trouble.
Paul, I know an attorney.
Kind of split the different last man standing, Paul over there. So it looks like the Yankees and DJ LeMahieu are still about $25 million apart. Yeah, the latest from New York is that LeMahieu is seeking $100 million over 5 years. Pay the man. However, they might have a little bit of motivation here. There might be a new player in the game, as it's being reported Toronto has engaged with LeMahieu. I don't know what engaged means in this context.
They're talking to him.
Yeah, but to what extent?
Ah.
The Blue Jays say they're reaching out to all the top free agents this offseason, so there might be a little bit of motivation for New York.
They're trying to drive up the price in the Yankees. DJ's 32, man. You can't give him 5 years, $100 million. I mean, I get it. I love the guy. I want him in New York. I want him to get paid. You can't give him 5 years, $100 million. You can't.
It's the best hitter in baseball.
He's 32. You're not going to invest $100 million over 5 years in a 32-year-old.
So he's 37 by the time they're done?
Yeah, and he'll be done by then. And you're going to end up in a stupid deal like the Angels are with Pujols, where you're paying a guy $100 million to hit 210 and fall into 20 homers a year. Like, that's what it is.
I mean, we're talking about whether or not a 41-year-old with 37 broken ribs is going to play football this week.
All right, and that's Drew Brees, and he's not been effective, and we understand that, like throwing the ball downfield and all that sort of stuff. We also understand air yards, right? But, like, are you really fighting me on this? Like, this is the bugaboo in baseball. It's giving these guys long-term contracts when they start in their 30s, and it goes deep into the 30s and 40s, and they're not even close to performing at that level, but you do it to get the benefit on the front end. Like, it's too much. No.
You keep in mind, you're talking to a Mets fan here. Every July 1st, Bobby Bonilla gets $1 million.
Bingo. So why are you fighting me?
Don't look for luck. Because he's DJ LeMahieu, and I want him to have $100 million.
I want all that for him, too. Giving 24-year-old Alex Bregman $100 million, that makes a lot of sense. Giving Aaron Nola $100 million, that makes a lot of sense. Giving 32-year-old DJ LeMahieu $100 million, that's like when the Lakers gave Kobe the giant contract when he was like clearly going to be he's already very much past his prime. He was at the end of his road and they gave him the giant contract. It doesn't make sense. You don't pay someone on past performance. You pay based on what you're projecting they're going to be over the life of the contract. And that's exceeding what DJ's value is going to be in 5 years.
You're thinking like a GM. Think like a fan.
No.
Just be a fan.
I am a fan of the Yankees and I want them to win. I'm tired of it. Like, in 2017 when they played the Astros, cheaters, in the ALCS, I didn't expect them to be there. They were early. It was fun just to be on the ride. I was okay, and I was like, all right, now here we go. Well, now 3 seasons have come and gone since then with nothing to show for it. I'm sick of it. I'm ready to win one again. Let's go.
You're like the Neil McCready of the Yankees right now.
Neil went to ULM. He doesn't care about Ole Miss.
That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by
KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com.
Promo code AFR30 and save 30% off your order. Get you some hemp, y'all. All right, we got Otter Locks coming up. what we learned as well, we'll get to all of that. Remember, every guest on AFR receives a gift from Dead Soxy. Use the code HOLIDAYPRO to save 35% off. I got to mention this as well. If you're looking for the Tiger fan on your list, remember, go to deadsoxy.com, hit the college tab at the top to bring up a map of the country. Tap on Louisiana. I'm sure you know where Louisiana is, and you'll see all the purple and gold designs. Their newest design, which so many people are salivating over, and I'm telling you is not going to last, is their purple and gold fleur-de-lis. The purple and gold fleur-de-lis is the one that is super fire and everybody wants, and I'm telling you, it just released, but it's going to sell out. So get you some right now. You get the 4-pack of all the Tiger designs. You get the 2-pack with the Tiger stripes and the purple and gold fleur-de-lis. Go to deadsoxy.com, deadsoxy.com, deadsoxy.com. Use the promo code HOLIDAYPRO to save 35% off your order. Go get you some socks, y'all. Okay, Otter Locks to wrap up next on this Thursday. Stay here.
AFR.
Look up at your roof, man. Does it look gross? When was the last time you had your roof inspected? High wind, heavy rain, hail, sleet, snow, maybe even. Probably not snow, unless that was the snow from 3 years ago. Premier South Roofing can take care of all of your roofing issues. If it's roof repairs, roof replacements, gutters, awnings, metal, slate, tile, they do it all at Premier South Roofing. They are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, Super Service Award from Angie's List, Torch Award for Ethics in Business. You know how you are going to be treated when you call Premier South Roofing. You know you can trust the company that you are calling when you call Premier South Roofing. PremierSouthLA.com. Find them online, PremierSouthLA.com. And they cover so much of South Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, and the North Shore, they can get to you. And they're online at PremierSouthLA.com. See pictures of their work. Learn more about the jobs that they do at Premier South Roofing and PremierSouthLA.com.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Thursday night football. Who we betting on? Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, Jimmy joins us from Jolie Pearl, downtown Baton Rouge. That's where they are every Thursday for Thursday night football. Otter, how are you?
Doing good. A little special Thursday night tonight. We got our little Degeneration X crew that handicaps on Friday afternoon with T-Bob's Extra Hour and OTB with Megan making money from FanDuel, Barstool Mincy coming in for New York, little delayed flight with the snow. T-Bob as Santa Claus, and Ho-Ho Hanny's rolling in here later after his big holiday lunch gathering that he has every year, so that'll be fun. So got a nice crowd over here tonight here at Jolie Pearl, bringing in the Christmas spirit. So, boy, all those games would come right down to the wire, Matthew. So, 1-2 last night, 1-2.
That's a
Not
bummer.
great.
Sorry to hear that.
Here is the deal with tonight. Anthony Lynn is very hard to back. And they were going to lose again if it wasn't for back-to-back picks for Matt Ryan for the Falcons last week. And so, and the Raiders score a ton of points, 10-3 on overs in the Raiders games this year. They have given up 38 points a game, and they're out 4 starters tonight. So it should be a lot of scoring tonight. But then the Chargers are out their top receiver, and Mike Williams, and we're waiting on to see if Keenan Allen is going to be out as well. I can't see him rushing back from a hamstring in a meaningless game. So that's what has happened with the line. It has gone down from 54.5 to 51.5. It's the local team, the Raiders, even when they can't go to the game, they bet them every week. They used to bet the Raiders before they even showed up in Las Vegas. They even bet them now more. It's opened up 2.5. It's going to 3.5. So what do you want? A sinking ship in the Raiders or a sinking coach in Anthony Lynn? Did you know that the clock ran out again with the ball inside the 10 at the end of the half last week? So, I mean, this is you pick tonight, Matthew. You got all the answers.
I would abstain from this game, honestly. The one play that I like is I'm looking at 52.5. I like the under. That's the one play that and I'm not going to play it, but if I were going to play it, that's the one I would play tonight. As far as the spread, if I were to put a bet on this, Jimmy, it would literally only be to have some type of interest in the ball game aside from just watching the NFL. I have no confidence in the spread at all. My one play would be the under. I would take under 52.5.
What I do think, though, this is a pick'em game, all right, with all the entries involved. And I'll have to take the 3.5 despite Anthony Lynn. So, I mean, and they have people that's driving this number up, too, just because he's on the sideline. If Spanos doesn't fire him at the end of the season, he just doesn't. He's telling his fan base he doesn't care. So, I love the over, and I'm not an over player, but I loved it until these offensive injuries. But we'll see. But I'm going to go with the Chargers tonight, plus the 3.5.
All right, Jimmy's taking the points. Get on by Jolie Pearl tonight, y'all, if you need a place to hang out. That should be a lot of fun, man. T-Bob, Mitzi, Megan making money. They'll all be out there, even though Otter called it the Generation X, and it's the Degeneration Dome. But, what? 6 one way, half a dozen another. Right, Otter?
Ho, ho, Hanny.
All right, Otter. Have a great night, man. We'll see you.
Thank you, Matthew.
All righty. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, you can listen online or on the 104.5 ESPN app powered by Bayou Ford. And, of course, you can always watch on the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. If you want to check it out on Facebook Live, do so. All right. What a day, man. Thanks to the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. They've been awesome partners of ours here for so long. All throughout this month, a great special. For every $100 gift card you buy, they'll give you a $50 gift card for free to be used on any product or service. So take advantage of it, y'all. If it's laser hair removal, if it's PRP with micro needling, if it's medical grade supplements or skincare products, guys, I'm telling you, the lady in your life will love the skincare products. My wife uses them. You'll love them as well. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. All right. Brain, what did you learn on the show today?
I learned that a group of 5 coach wants fewer teams in the running to be in the championship.
Not a coach.
Oh.
Mike Oresco, the commissioner of the American Athletic Conference, lobbying for the return to the BCS. Idiot! Paulie, what did you learn today?
Mike D said Florida should have taken both shoes.
Yeah.
What'd you learn, Matt?
Neil McCready thinks LSU's going to win by 14 after the opt-outs. I gotta take a serious look at this now, man. Line's still sitting at 2.5 with Johnny Reb favored. Y'all have a great night. Brain, Paulie, thanks so much. We will see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you about our friends over at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com, 288-8138 or ReliefWindows.com. I was so fired up to see this, man. Relief Windows just posted this news on all their social media. They are relocating their headquarters. Upcoming move for Relief Windows. They just bought a giant showroom in Ascension Parish. So they are going to be able to have a much larger showroom than their present one on Pennywood. The bottom line is, man, they've outgrown it. I mean, it's gorgeous what it is, but the way Relief Windows has grown to be the leader in the industry in this city and all of our state, they need it. Really excited about it coming soon. The future home of the corporate office and showroom of Relief Windows there in Ascension Parish. We'll tell you more as it's set to be opened around summer of 2021. Windows, doors, siding, you know where to go. It's Relief Windows. They are just the best. Windows, door, siding. Relief Windows and online at reliefwindows.com.
Toyotathon is happening right now at Corral Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to